Welcome, hackers. Dungeons and Dragons was built out of a war game, so it stands to reason that it's primarily focused on combat. The game is, however, described as having three pillars: combat, social, and exploration. While each class has some aspects that look at the other pillars, all of the classes are primarily combat focused. Even the Peace Cleric's abilities are to be used in combat and not outside of combat. To fix this oversight, I've created the Veritas. Veritas means truth in Latin. They excel at the exploration portion of Dungeons and Dragons, but aren't a complete liability in combat. Now, in many campaigns that are primarily focused on combat, this class may not be as useful. So, if you want to try this class, which I would recommend, there'll be a link to my Patreon down below that'll have this class in it. But also, you will want to talk to your dungeon master to make sure they're okay with it. You can see on the chart at the top of this, the Veritas has level and proficiency bonus. The next column is the deductive reasoning dice. The deductive reasoning dice aren't actually dice. That's an oversight on my part. Those are points. Originally, they were going to be dice, but I decided to just make them points. There is a couple little typos on this chart. You can see that at level 14, they drop down from 16 to 8. It's actually supposed to continue being 16 there. There was another typo on here somewhere. Well, we'll find it in a minute. Uh, the next column is features, and then the final column is insights. So they will use these deductive reasoning points to use certain abilities, um, which are the insights that they have. The features, we'll scroll down and take a look at them. The Veritas, or Truth Seeker. Veritas means truth in Latin, and this class is all about finding the truth. The Veritas are a class dedicated to uncovering hidden truths, deciphering ancient mysteries, and navigating the unknown. Driven by an insatiable curiosity and a keen intellect, they excel in exploration, deduction, and lore mastery. They are invaluable companions in any adventuring party, for their skill can unlock secrets, solve puzzles, and shed light on even the most perplexing situations. So here are the class features. They only have a D6 in hit points. It's low, just like the wizard, because they aren't combat focused. They aren't going to be up on the front line. Oop, here's another typo. The hit points is a D6, not a D8, plus your Constitution modifier per Veritas level after first. They have no armor proficiencies, and they only have simple weapon proficiencies. They do have a lot of tools that they can use. You get to pick any four because they are focused on discovering things. So they've got a lot of tools that they can use. Saving throws are intelligence and wisdom, and skills choose four from animal handling, arcana, history, insight, investigation, nature, perception, and religion. The equipment isn't very much. Again, a simple weapon, a scholar's pack, and any of the four tools, probably the four that they are proficient in. Alternatively, they could start with 44 times 10 gold, which would be about 100 gold. So their first ability, the deductive reasoning. This is the core resource Veritas utilize to fuel their investigative and discovery based abilities. It represents their keen intellect, meticulous observation, and ability to draw logical conclusions from gathered information. Veritas spend deductive reasoning points to activate various abilities that enhance their investigative powers, uncover hidden truths, and gain insights that propel them forward in their pursuit of knowledge. The number of DR, or deductive reasoning, Veritas has is shown on the class table above. So that's the points that we looked at earlier in column one or in column three here. So they'll start off at first level with 6, and they'll have 2 insights to select. So let's take a look at these insights. Veritas insights are specialized abilities fueled by deductive reasoning points. These insights tap into the core strengths of the Veritas class: keen observation, logical deduction, and a thirst for knowledge. So these different insights that they can select will be based on how they want to focus their class and their observational abilities. And you can see that next to each one, there's also a number of points. Some of the insights cost more deductive reasoning points depending on how much you get out of them. So the first one, observational expertise. Spend a point to make a close examination of a creature, object, or location. Gain a bonus to your next intelligence investigation check related to what you examined. That's supposed to be gain advantage. I'm gonna have to make a few updates to this in the PDF before you guys check it out. So that costs one, and they'll have advantage on intelligence investigation checks related to what they're looking at. Environmental awareness costs 1 point. While exploring a new environment, spend a point to become more attuned to your surroundings. Gain advantage on your next wisdom perception check to notice hidden details or potential dangers. A lot of these are going to give you advantage in certain situations. So the first one gives you advantage on investigation checks, the second one on perception checks. The next one, surveyor scrutiny, presented with a map, diagram, or blueprint, spend points to analyze it for hidden details or potential inconsistencies. Gain, again, advantage on your next intelligence investigation check to glean additional information. Linguistic intuition. This one's variable. Encountering a creature speaking in an unknown language, spend points to attempt basic communication. This could cost 1 point for simple phrases, 2 points for basic conversation, or more for complex topics. This is at the GM's discretion. This would be your standard when you see somebody that doesn't speak your language, and they start talking louder. Everybody always starts talking louder. This would allow you to hand signals and stuff like that to get some basic communication to understand the general concept of what they're trying to get across to you. Arcane analysis is 2 points. When encountering a magical object, location, or creature, spend points to attempt to understand its magical properties. Gain advantage on your next intelligence arcana check to identify its function or potential dangers. So this is similar to like the identify spell. You're going to be able to gain advantage on an arcana check to try to discover its secrets. Interrogation pressure, 2 points again. While questioning a suspect, spend points to subtly increase pressure and potentially unearth hidden information. Gain advantage on your next intimidation or deception check to influence their response. So this is when you're interrogating someone, you're studying um, their movements, their ticks, their tells, and you're using those to gain insight into what they're trying to say or what they're hiding. Giving you insight allows you to better ask questions. Memory jog, 1 point. As you interview a witness or suspect, spend points to jog their memory. Grant advantage on their next wisdom check to recall specific details or forgotten knowledge. Oh, we've gone off the bottom here. My bad. Follow the trail, presented with faint tracks, broken branches, or other subtle signs. Spend points to attempt to follow a trail. Gain advantage on your next wisdom survival check to track a creature or lost person. This represents your observational abilities and to notice subtle signs along the way to be able to track something. Underworld connections, 2 points. Seeking information from the criminal underworld, spend points to tap into your network of informants. Gain advantage on your next charisma persuasion or charisma intimidation check to convince a source to provide relevant information. This is again you're not necessarily knowing a lot of the underworld so much as you are studying the person you're talking to and discovering their fears and their concerns and being able to use those against them. You better tell me where the MacGuffin is, or I'm gonna take you to Billy the Thug, whatever, something along those lines. Magical residue. When encountering evidence of magic use, spend points to attempt to identify the specific school of magic or lingering effects. Gain a bonus to your next intelligence arcana check to understand the nature of the magic used. Self-explanatory, you're studying the residue of the magic that was used. And so you can tell what kind of magic it was, perhaps giving you some advantage later on based on knowing what kind of magic had been used in that location. Swift climber, Faced with a challenging climb, spend a point to move with increased agility and sure-footedness. Gain advantage on your next strength athletics check to climb a wall or obstacle. You're studying the wall you're climbing, the cliff you're climbing, and you see different handholds and the safest path with which to take. The Trailblazer's Eye is 2 points while navigating dense foliage, treacherous terrain, or other difficult environments. Spend points to identify the safest and most effective route. Gain advantage on your next wisdom survival check to avoid hidden dangers or difficult terrain. So, when tracking something or following something, and you come to an area that looks dangerous, you can find the best way across to avoid any hidden dangers, such as pitfalls or quicksand, something like that. Hide the trail costs 1 point. Hide evidence of your passing. If you're being followed, you can cause the pursuers to have disadvantage to track you by hiding your tracks along the way. Natural camouflage, encountering a need to blend into your surroundings, spend a point to utilize the environment to your advantage. Gain advantage on your next dexterity stealth check to hide in plain sight. So this allows you to use nature to camouflage yourself, gives you advantage to hide. Treasure Hunter's Eye cost 1. While exploring a dungeon, tomb, or other potentially treacherous location, spend a point to identify hidden compartments, secret doors, or concealed traps. Gain advantage on your next intelligence investigation check to find hidden treasure or dangers. So, when you're searching a hallway for traps or secret doors, or you're looking for secret compartments, you can spend a point to grant yourself advantage on the check to find it. Ancient Script. This one's variable. Encountering an inscription in a forgotten language, spend points to attempt to decipher it. This could cost 1 point for basic symbols or 2 points for a short phrase. This would again be up to your DM's discretion. Camouflage detection, 1 point. Searching for a hidden creature or object disguised within its surroundings. Spend a point to utilize your keen observational skills. Gain advantage on your next wisdom perception check to identify the hidden element. This also helps locate invisible creatures and objects. So if there's something that's invisible around, then you could spend a point to maybe discern what its location is. And it would give you advantage on that check as opposed to just a straight up perception check to find it. That's all of the insights that the player can select. Next, at second level, they gain expertise in either insight, investigation, or perception. Your proficiency bonus is doubled for any ability check you make that uses either of the chosen proficiencies, any of the chosen proficiencies. The skills that they can choose, insight, investigation, and perception, represent all of the different skills that somebody would be using within the exploration phase to try to discover information. Paradigms. This is the subclass. With the Veritas class, a paradigm refers to a specialized approach a Veritas takes in their pursuit of uncovering the truth and forgotten knowledge. Each paradigm reflects the distinct philosophy or methodology in how they gather information, analyze clues, and ultimately reach conclusions. At third level, you choose a paradigm that you pursue, detailed at the end of the class description, or one from another source. Your paradigm choice grants you features at third level and then again at sixth and 14th. At level 4, you get your standard ability score improvement and or feat, whatever you choose if you use feats. Starting at fifth level, after a short rest, you regain half of your spent deductive reasoning points. So if you've used 8, you would get 4 back on a short rest. This is just so that you don't end up running out of deductive reasoning points. Insightful deduction, starting at ninth level. In a moment of keen observation and logical analysis, you can offer a flash of insight that empowers an ally of yourself, to navigate a challenge. When you or a creature within 30 feet of you makes an ability check or a saving throw, you can expend 1 point of deductive reasoning as a reaction to grant them advantage on the roll. So essentially, one of your teammates tries to do something, and this allows you to help them do it better by noticing They're trying to jump across the chasm. Hey, it's shorter over there, or whatever it may be. 10th level, you get another expertise. It's from the same list, so it has to be one of the skills that you didn't take the first time you got expertise. Then at 11th level, you get creature evaluation. Pick a creature type by using a bonus action and spending 1 point of deductive reasoning. You can take a moment to meticulously analyze a creature within 30 feet. You gain advantage on your next attack roll against that creature within the next minute, as you have identified a weakness or exploited an opening in its defenses. The creature must be of the creature type that you selected. At 15th level, the player can select another creature type, and again at 18th level. So while this seems pretty powerful with your ability to gain advantage on an attack roll, there are a lot of ways to gain advantage. I can see where this would be useful multi-classing into other classes. That's part of the reason that I put this ability so late in the character's skill tree. It doesn't come online until 11th level. So it's not something you could just take a couple level dip for and then be able to use it on your rogue and get a whole bunch of, advantage on your sneak attacks or anything like that. But it does give this class a little bit of help in their abilities and combat. Whereas, they just have simple weapons. They aren't particularly focused on strength or dexterity. So they don't have a whole lot of utility in combat. And this gives them a little bit of help as they level up in combat. And then at level 20, always deductive. If you start an encounter without any deductive reasoning points, you gain 1 DR. So this is similar to a bard gaining, an inspiration die, a bardic inspiration die if they're out, something along those lines. So now let's take a look at the subclasses, the paradigms. The first one is the Pathfinder. The Pathfinder excels at navigating treacherous terrain, uncovering hidden pathways, and understanding the secrets of the natural world. They are the ultimate wilderness explorer, adept at tracking creatures, identifying dangers, and utilizing their environment to their advantage. When taking this paradigm, the character gains proficiency in athletics and survival skills and can cast the animal friendship and speak with animal spells using no components by spending 1 DR point. So by spending one of the points, they can talk to animals or create friends with animals. And they are skilled at athletics and survival. This will help them while exploring the wilderness. At 6th level, the Pathfinder can cast the locate animals and plants spells by spending 2 DR points, and the commune with nature spell by using 3 DR points. This represents them gaining a little more connection with the land. At 14th level, the Pathfinder can cast Legend Lore for 5 DR points and has the ability to find the safest path across any natural terrain. This grants them advantage on any rolls to see or navigate this terrain. So, as the Pathfinder levels up, the Pathfinder gains a lot of abilities that allow him to gather information from the wilderness around him. The next one, the Cartomancer, this one utilizes a mystical map, an extension of their will to uncover hidden locations and gain insights into the world around them. When taking this paradigm, the Cartomancer gains a magical map that lets them see the layout of the area up to 100 feet. This ability goes through walls and barriers. It will helpfully label traps and locked or secret doors. It can also show you the location of any creatures of size small or larger. The Cartomancer can store this map inside an interdimensional space and retrieve it as a bonus action. So this map allows them to see traps and things so they can find traps easily. They can see what kinds of creatures are behind, not what kinds of creatures, but how many creatures are behind other rooms. They can locate, or behind doors. They can locate secret doors and rooms and things along that nature. So this magical map really helps them in the exploration phase quite a bit. At 6th level, the Cartomancer can spend 2 DR to scry a specific location that is known or accurately described to them. This can be something as simple as, I want to scry what is behind the door, or as complicated as the throne room of the King of Thieves. Cartomancer can also alter terrain on the map at a cost of 1 DR per 10-foot square. The terrain can be altered to either create difficult terrain or remove difficult terrain. So this is something that during combat, the Cartomancer might be able to alter the terrain to help his allies or hinder his opponents. Not super powerful. He's not, dropping fourth or fifth level spells on anybody, but it is something that he can do to be helpful within combat. At 14th level, the Cartomancer can spend 2 DR points to teleport to a place on the map within range or that is being scryed. Other characters can be taken along for 2 additional DR points per extra character. So this essentially mimics a couple of different spells. The Dimension Door to just jump around within the area that you can see or on the map. Or it could even be more of a teleport. If you're scrying a certain location, you could teleport to, and you could take your party members with you. The final subclass that I've outlined is the Spirit Weaver. The Spirit Weaver possesses the innate ability to communicate with benevolent spirits that linger in the world, drawing upon their knowledge and aid in their investigation. When this paradigm is first taken by a character, they gain the ability to perceive and interact with benevolent spirits that linger in certain locations. They gain proficiency in history checks, as the spirits can tell them of what has happened in the past. The spirits can also scout around within 300 feet of the Spirit Weaver and convey information back to the Spirit Weaver. So the spirits can gather information for the Spirit Weaver that can help him within his role within the exploration phase of Dungeons and Dragons. At 6th level, the Spirit Weaver can temporarily make the spirits visible, allowing a Spirit Weaver to cause a creature to make a saving throw or be frightened. The DC is equal to 8 plus the Spirit Weaver's intelligence bonus plus the Spirit Weaver's proficiency bonus. This ability costs 3 DR points, so it's pretty expensive to use this ability. But being able to frighten another creature within combat is very helpful to the party, but it also represents the Spirit Weaver's lack of focus within the combat realm. They aren't trying to do damage; they're trying to keep things from hurting them because combat isn't their bag. And finally, at 14th level, the spirits around the Spirit Weaver can cause the area within 10 feet of the Spirit Weaver to become difficult terrain. And any ranged attacks targeting the Spirit Weaver are made at disadvantage as the spirits flit around the Spirit Weaver and disrupt any ranged attacks coming in. So those are the 3 subclasses or paradigms to my Veritas class. I would love to hear any feedback you have on this. I don't suspect that this would be a class a lot of people would want to take. As I said in the intro, there's a lot of campaigns that are much more focused on combat. The majority of campaigns are more focused on combat, as 90% of the rules within Dungeons and Dragons are geared towards combat. But I thought it was odd that there were no classes that really focused outside of combat. So this class is something if you wanted to play more of a Sherlock Holmes type character that notices a lot of things and can then use that information to their advantage. So let me know down in the comments what you thought. Share this video with anybody that you think might be interested in a class like this. And like and subscribe. And we'll see you guys in the next video. And until then, keep on hacking the dungeon.